Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto4, Chapter 15, Text 18. Agnir Ajagavam Chapam.
Agnir Ajagavam Chapam.
Suryo Rashamim Mayan Ishun. Bhuhu Paduke Yogamayo.
Paduke Yogamayo.
Dyo Pushpavalim Anvaham.
Dho Pushpavalim Anvaham.
The demigod of fire, Agni, presented him with a bow made of the horn of goats and cows. The sun god presented him with arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominating deity of Burlok presented him with slippers full of mystic power. The demigods from outer space brought him presentations of flowers again and again. This verse describes that the king's slippers were invested with mystic powers, Paduke Yogamaya. Thus, as soon as the king placed his feet in the slippers, they would immediately carry him wherever he desired. It would be interesting to have such slippers. Huh? Mystic yogis can transfer themselves from one place to another whenever they desire. A similar power was invested in the slippers of King Pṛthu. Something we can note here, that how all the demigods are coming to present him with the gifts, because after all, he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So they're coming to show their appreciation. Natyam Sugitam Vaditram.
Natyam Sugitam Vaditram.
Antardhanam Cha Khechara.
Antardhanam Cha Khechara.
Rishayas Chashisha Satya.
Rishayas Chashisha
Samudra Shankam Atmajam.
Samudra Shankam Atmajam.
The demigods who always travel in outer space gave King Pṛthu the arts to perform dramas, sing songs, play musical instruments, and disappear at his will. The great sages also offered him infallible blessings. The ocean offered him a conch shell produced from the ocean. Sindhava Parvata Nadyo.
Sindhava Parvata Nadyo.
Ratha Vithir Mahatmana.
Ratha Vithir Mahatmanaha.
Suto Atha Magado Vandi.
Suto Atha Magado Vandi.
Tam Stotum Upatasthire.
Tam Stotum Upasthire.
The seas, mountains, and rivers gave him room to drive his chariot without impediments, and a Sutta, a Magad, and a Vandi offered prayers and praises. They all presented themselves before him to perform their respective duties. So the seas, mountains, and rivers are allowing him. He can go anywhere he wants with his chariot, and their personalities offering him prayers. Stavakam stan abhipretya.
Stavakam stan abhipretya.
Prithurvaniya pratapavan.
Prithurvaniya pratapavan.
Mega nirshadaya vacha.
Mega nirshadaya vacha.
Prahasan idam abravit.
Prahasan idam abravit.
Thus, when the greatly powerful King Pṛthu, the son of Vena, saw the professionals before him, to congratulate them, he smiled, and with the gravity of the vibrating sounds of clouds, he spoke as follows. So his voice is like the vibrating sounds of clouds, so like thundercloud. Elsewhere also it's written that Krishna's sound is like the thundercloud.
How nice if we could hear Krishna's
I'm
sound.
sorry?
How nice would it be if we could hear Krishna's voice?
I know, right? I know, right? Because after I heard that, oh, his sound is like thunderclouds, then I wonder how is it, you know?
Yeah.
I know, right? Will be good, no, to hear.
Mm.
Although we can hear the flute, but how does he sound, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, Bosu Tahema Gada Saumya Vandil
Bosu tahi magada saumya mandir.
Loke Aduna Spashta Gunasya Mesya
Loki aduna spashta gunasya me syat.
Kim Ashrayo Mestava Esha Yojyatam
Kim ashrayo me stava esha yujyatam.
Mamai Abhuvan Vittatha Girova.
Mamaya bhuvan vittara.
King Pṛthu said, O gentle Sutta, Magad, and other devotee offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better that they be offered to someone else. Oh, we can see the humility of King Pṛthu. You know, here the personalities are rightly praising him, and he's like, why are you praising me? You know, if someone praises us, how would we act? You know, maybe we will say, see, finally, you know my glories. The prayers and praises by the Sutta, Magad, and Mandi are all explain the godly qualities of Maharaj Pṛthu, for he was a Shaktiavesh incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the qualities were not yet manifest, however, King Pṛthu very humbly asked why the devotee should praise him with such exalted words. He did not want anyone to offer him prayers or glorify him unless he possessed the real qualities of which they spoke. So he's like, I don't have these qualities as yet. Why are you offering prayers to me? You know, how do we behave when somebody offers us prayers? The offering of prayers was certainly appropriate, for he was an incarnation of Godhead. But he warned that one should not be accepted as an incarnation of the personality of Godhead without having the godly qualities. So now he's rightly setting an example, because they know he's the incarnation of God, but he's not yet performed any activity. So he's like, how do you know? You know, so he's rightly setting an example for us if we want to claim someone an incarnation of the Lord. At the present moment, there are many so-called incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but these are merely fools and rascals whom people accept as incarnations of God, although they have no godly qualities. King Pṛthu desired that his real characteristics in the future might justify such words of praise. Although there was no fault in the prayers offered, Pṛthu Maharaj indicated that such prayers should not be offered to an unfit person who pretends to be an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is like kind of a caution for us to understand who is an incarnation, who is not, and what kind of prayers to offer them. I'm forgetting this, the meter of this. Long time we didn't read
It,
in this meter. Does
it is
anyone remember?
it's the Gopi Geet meter. Tasmat parokshe
That's right.
asmat apshrutan alam. It's something like this. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Thank you. Tasmat parokshe asmatopashrutani alam.
Tasmat parokshe asmat apshrutani alam.
Karishyatastotramapि च्यवाचः.
Karishyathastotam
Apchay vacha.
vacha
Sati utam shloka gunanubade.
Sati
Uttam shloka guna anuvade
Jugupsitam nastavayanti sabyaha.
jugu itam
Sitam
nastavayanti sabyaha.
sabyaha.
Thank you, Neha. O gentle reciters, offer such prayers in due course of time, when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them. Gentle devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead know perfectly well who is God and who is not. So we should try and understand who is God and who's not God, so that we don't get cheated, so that our faith is not manipulated or taken advantage of, and so that we can ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. You know, if we put our faith, because Krishna says where who we worship, we are going to go there. So we should properly educate ourselves in this regard. Non-devotee impersonalists, however, who have no idea what God is and who never offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always interested in accepting a human being as God and offering such prayers to Him. So there is a difference between God and a human being. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that fools deride Him when He comes in the human form. You know, people think that, oh, Krishna, he's just another human being. Sure, maybe has some mystic power. Sure, maybe he was a great king, or, you know, he had some kind of some powers, but he's not God. He's someone like me. No, we should understand Krishna's position. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, Janma karma chame divyam. He says, just try to understand that my form and my appearance, my activities are transcendental. And if we understand this, Krishna says, we don't need to come to this world again. We can go back home, back to Godhead. So we should try to understand the position of Krishna. This is the difference between a devotee and a demon. Demons manufacture their own gods, or a demon claims himself to be God, following in the footsteps of Ravan and Hiranyakashipu. So we may not know who is God. We may not know his position. But does it mean that we should not know? No. We can educate ourselves. We can research, right? Like someone might say, oh, I don't know how to use the internet. But because nowadays it's become so important, right? Then does it mean that he has to continue? No, he can educate himself, right? So although Pṛthu Maharaj was factually an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he rejected those praises because the qualities of the Supreme Person were not yet manifest in him. He wanted to stress that one who does not actually possess these qualities should not try to engage his followers and devotees in offering him glory for them, even though these qualities might be manifest in the future. So Pṛthu Maharaj is stating an example, you know, because we may say, oh, you know, or someone may say that he or she is an incarnation of God, but yet their qualities are not yet manifest. So that's the reason you don't know his or her glories. But here the example is being set by Pṛthu Maharaj that such things should not be done. If a man who does not factually possess the attributes of a great personality engages his followers in praising him with the expectation that such attributes will develop in the future, that sort of praise is actually an insult. Any comments or anything to add? No? Then moving on. Mahad gunanatmani kartumishah
Mahadgunan atmani kartum isha
kastavakestāvayate asatoapi
kastavakestāvayate asato api
te asyabhivasyaniti vipralabdho
te asyapi bhavishyan iti pralapto
janavahasam kumatir naveda.
janavahasam matir veda.
How could an intelligent man, competent enough to possess such exalted qualities, allow his followers to praise him if he did not actually have them? Praising a man by saying that if he were educated, he might have become a great scholar or great personality is nothing but a process of cheating. A foolish person who agrees to accept such praise does not know that such words simply insult him. Pṛthu Maharaj was an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Lord Brahma and other demigods had already testified when they had presented the king with many heavenly gifts. So here, Pṛthu Maharaj has been declared as an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, not by himself. He's not saying, oh, I'm an incarnation of God. Nor are his followers saying that, oh, I'm an incarnation of God. No. Who is saying? The great personalities. Lord Brahma, he personally checked, oh, his hands and feet have these marks, and then all the demigods, and the scriptures also say the same thing. Because he had just been coronated, however, he could not manifest his godly qualities in action. Therefore, he was not willing to accept the praise of the devotees. So he's saying, hey, please stop it. I've not yet shown any of my godly qualities. I've not done any of this work. He has just appeared. He's just been coronated. So he does not want to accept this praise as yet. So-called incarnations of Godhead should therefore take lessons from the behavior of King Pṛthu. Demons without godly qualities should not accept false praise from their followers. You see, because we living entities, we are here in this world, and one of the main reasons is this pratishtha. We desire the praise, the worship from others, the distinction, the honor. It's very deep-rooted in us, and that's what's keeping us here. The desire for honor, for worship. So so this is like kind of showing that how we should in fact not try to take this honor falsely. Prabhavo hi atmana stotram.
Prabhavo hi atmana stotram.
Jugupsanti api vishrutaha.
Jugupsanti api vishrutaha.
Hrimanta paro modaraha.
Hrimantaha paramodaraha.
Paurasham va vigarhitam.
Paurusham va vigarhitam.
As a person with a sense of honor and magnanimity does not like to hear about his abominable actions, a person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. So this is a quality of a man of honor. or a very powerful and a famous person. He does not like himself to be praised. Vayam tva avedita loke.
Mayam te avedita loke.
Sutta dhyapi varimabhihe.
Sutta dhyapi varimabhihi.
Karma bhi katham atmanam.
Karmabhi katham atmanam.
Gapa yeshyama balavat.
Gapayishyama balavat.
King Pṛthu continued, my dear devotees, headed by this sutta, just now I'm not very famous for my personal activities because I have not done anything praiseworthy you could glorify. Therefore, how could I engage you in praising my activities exactly like children? Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled King Pṛthu's Appearance and Coronation. Did anyone have any questions or comments? If no, we'll stop here for today and we'll start the 16th chapter tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.